You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 187. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Feature Man, Jeff Barnhart.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can check out our show, plus many other cool podcasts like the all-new Anti-Fanboy, Super Podcasto Magnifico, and Ultimate Facepalm at rhymeswithgeek.com. And if you enjoy this program, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher. So, today, Jeff and I are going to talk about some Superman and Batman team-ups for the bulk of this episode from World's Finest. And the first issue we're going to talk about is World's Finest Comics number 135. It's the August of 1963 issue. And the lead story is called Menace of the Future Man, written by Bill Finger, penciled by Dick Sprang, and inked by Sheldon Moldoff.
I don't like World's Finest. I never liked the stories. I love Superman, love Batman. I don't like them together. I don't know what's going on with this. He's in these.
You know, I find that, because you know me, how much I love the Mort Weisinger era of Superman, and all the books that fall under his editorial reign. But unless I'm mistaken, World's Finest is among those. And yeah, I think it's great to see Superman and Batman together. And I think I know, but my favorite Batman stories are team ups. So but yeah, there's some cool things going on, but they're kind of vanilla in more so than other stuff.
Yeah, but the whole does not equal some of the parts. It's just really...
Yeah,
it's just
because you would think Superman and Batman, this is going to be the greatest comic ever.
I think they did it too much.
Well, the fact that it was a series?
Yeah, if they did it every once in a while, it'd be super awesome. But they don't really fit. And Batman, dark and all that stuff, and Superman, light. You know.
Of course, even at this time, Batman is very light.
Yeah.
And the bulk of the classic period where we would see the Superman and Batman team-ups, Batman's pretty light.
But still, it's very different from Superman, and I don't know. Oh, well.
And it's weird because it's almost like this exists in its own little pocket where Superman and Batman exist in a world where their only real supporting cast is each other. Mm-hmm. You know, and Robin. And
you don't really see anybody else that's in,
not as much. And I think
Lois Lane.
And I think it's because we want to pare it down a bit so we can get to the meat of Superman and Batman need to work together to solve some super problem.
Which is the problem, because part of the great thing about Superman is his supporting characters, and Jimmy Olsen and Chief, and Don't Call Me Chief, and all those, and Lois Lane, and it's kind of cool. Batman.
Yeah,
doesn't have as many.
Commissioner Gordon and Alfred are not as cool as the Lady Planet cast.
Yeah. Although I love Commissioner Gordon in the TV show, and Alfred later on is awesome. He's one of the greatest characters. I'd read an Alfred comic book.
Sure.
So, a modern one.
But in this context, Alfred is he's just the butler. Mm-hmm. He's not terribly interesting, and Commissioner Gordon is a bit bumbling, or he's just there to be the Batman's contact at the police station.
Somebody who's not very good at their job. So.
Yeah, and that would change in the 70s, and both those characters would really, get better.
So we just have two superheroes together, and it's not that good. So
especially against these one-off villains.
Mm-hmm. The Future Man.
Yeah. So what's going on with Future Man?
All right, this Future Man comes and kicks Batman and Superman's butt.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, and Robin. And he breaks into a boy ranger museum of all things.
What does he steal there?
I think it's minerals. That's actually kryptonite.
Oh, that's right.
I would say Kryptonian.
Because kryptonite or some derivative of it or magic has to come into play in this, because it's the only way Superman would ever need any help. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, Future Man is really nasty. Let's see, what is this thing? It's
Oh, Batman's got the whirly bat.
what a just stupidest name of anything. But the Future Man knocks off an insulator, on this big insulator, electrical insulators on
Okay.
and sends it to a bunch of in the path of these little Boy Scouts or Boy Rangers, and Batman's got to save them, and that's the entire point. So I guess Future Man knows they're not going to get killed, but still, it's a bad move and dishonorable. So we got a real bad guy here. So,
yeah, he'll throw tires at kids. That's what it looks like, a pile of tires. But I know it's some insulator thing.
You're right.
They would be crushed, but yeah.
Yeah, it does. I said, what was that? All right, so they find that, oh, he's got a time machine, so he must be from the future. Because somebody from the caveman days is not going to build a time machine, I guess.
Yeah.
But, so they look, oh, we have 2 dates. One way in the past, in 500 AD, and one way in the future.
So Superman just travels to the future, breaks the time barrier, so he's going to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
We take a look at Batman and Robin. How did they travel in time? They've got like...
they got a scientist who made them a gizmo.
Yeah, they know a guy who has a time machine.
Yeah.
And so he sends them back in time, and they're in Viking times.
And they meet Thor, which is not the Marvel Thor, but
yeah.
But this is more like the Thor that everybody knew before Marvel Comics.
Right.
And he's got a hammer, which is stolen by the Future Man.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting to see that the hammer returning thing. I thought that was an invention of Marvel Comics, but I guess not. But the being worthy, only those who are worthy can pick it up thing, definitely is.
Mm-hmm. Wow, look at this silver anniversary of Superman.
How sad, yeah.
Oh, man.
25 years. And so there's an annual celebrating some best stories from,
I was 1 year old. They have,
in 1963?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Superman becomes president. Superman's first wife. The origin of Batman's Superman team. And Superman's mystery power. He's got rainbows coming out of his fingers.
And don't forget about King Krypton, the super gorilla.
Really?
Yeah, I'm leading the...
Oh my goodness, okay.
There's a whole list of these stories.
Black Knight's super sword. Man, I want to read these. So.
Yeah, those annuals, the 80-page giants and stuff, those are loads of fun. Mm-hmm. And then the days before comic book shops or whatever, unless you had an older brother that saved them or you found somebody to use bookstore, getting old issues and old stories to read was kind of hard to come by. You got to wait for these reprints. And those annuals and giants were a goldmine for that.
Yeah.
So
kind of cool.
A great time.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on with Future Man?
All right. Superman goes to the future world. He gets arrested.
Well, what happened with Batman and Robin in the past?
Someone steals, Future Man steals the hammer of Thor.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Superman goes to the future. He gets arrested. And, you're not Superman. That's hilarious. And, so he proves it by throwing a steel girder, which looks the same in the future as it does now.
Yeah.
And then he rides it. And then he burns it up. So
with this heat vision.
Yeah.
Love it.
So this guy who looks like the Future Man is sick, and he says, "Oh, I gotta go. I'm sick." So
Superman follows him.
Mm-hmm.
Back to his evil lair of evil science.
Yeah. And so there's So it's kind of confusing, but let's go ahead and explain it.
Okay.
That guy who looks like the Future Man is not. He looks like him because he's the twin brother of Future Man. Our guy here is innocent. He invents a time machine, and his evil brother wants to rule the world, so he finds a bit of Thor's hammer and says, "Oh, if I get more of this, I'll rule the world." So he goes back in time to Superman's day and to Thor's day, and
steals the stuff.
Yeah, and that's the entire point.
Here's something. If you were like, say you're now and you've got a time machine and you're going to travel back in time and be a supervillain, would you call yourself Future Man?
Yeah, I call myself Joe Blow or something, whatever the thing is. Actually,
but I mean,
you're
yeah.
right. Oh, that's
I mean,
a good
like
point, yeah.
he's like he's from our future, and so he comes from there and calls himself Future Man.
Oh, he ought to be Today Guy.
Yeah.
Davy Boy or something.
You know, and it's kind of interesting because also Superman is frequently referred to as the Man of Tomorrow.
That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know why he is. Because in the future, is everybody going to be a Superman?
I think in the time where Superman was created, I think we believed that humanity would advance itself and become Supermen. And you have to remember also, Superman came out when fascism was on the rise in Europe, and there was talk of the Ubermensch and eugenics, and so it's interesting the kind of things that were on our minds in that time.
Yeah, and they turn out true. Look at us now.
I know,
We
right?
have superpowers. Maybe not. So, there's a huge fight. Batman comes back into present day.
Yeah.
And Superman is captured in the future.
With the kryptonite strapped to his chest, so you know he's in serious trouble.
So, they attack Future Man in 1963. A Superman robot, Batman and Robin, and they get disintegrated.
It's weird because the ray that the Future Man uses like removes all the color, which makes for a really interesting looking panel.
Yeah, it's probably pretty rad at the time. It's kind of, oh, well, it makes it easier for the colorists, right?
Right.
Yeah, draining all the color out of them.
Yeah, they would just probably, we're looking at this panel and listeners will be like befuddled, but, you know, when they're doing this, the color overlays and the color guide, they're just like, you know, probably had notes, so leave this blank, don't, okay? And then they'll have, okay, labels for the various colors in different areas.
They put a flower patch in there, so you know, here's some color and here's not, for good contrast.
I like it.
Yeah, they too.
Well, and they're fighting this guy in like a park or something, so it makes sense too. That's a good place for super battles to take place, really.
Yeah, it beats amusement parks. I'm getting so tired of those. Yeah. So, the guy, Future Man returns, and he turns out it's Batman, and he saves the day. And
he had already beaten the Future Man.
All right. The people who disintegrated were robots.
Right.
All right. So they fix everything, and everything's all right.
And they send the Future Man back to the future with his brother, and where he'll go to future jail, I guess.
No, he's going to psychiatrist.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because he was crazy.
Oh, man. And House Afro Giant Lois Lane as Batwoman. Lois Lane has a kryptonite vision, Elastic Lass, movie star, Alien Lotus. Man, she looks cool.
Yeah.
And Housemaid. Man, these things are so fun.
Oh, I know it. It's a blast. So there's a cool backup story with Aquaman.
And Aqualad.
Of course. Yeah, this story is called The Creatures That Conquered Aquaman. And, it was written by Jack Miller with art by Ramona Fradon. Remember last episode we looked at some Ramona Fradon drawn Plastic Man? Yeah. Well, yeah, this is one of her other major works, is her run on Aquaman.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Suffering. Let's see. Suffering Sardines. Oh, God.
Aqualad says that.
Yeah.
And the splash panel is great. Aquaman is captured and he's like being held in this like alien thing with aliens all around him. It's great. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. Aquaman land is being attacked by these aliens. Aquaman sends some whale sharks, and the aliens beat the crap out of the whale sharks.
I think those are killer whales.
No, they are whale sharks.
Oh, that's a different thing? Okay.
Yes. It's the largest fish is a whale shark.
Oh.
Perfectly harmless, unless,
Unless Aquaman tells them to bite somebody.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think they have teeth.
Okay, well. So.
Let's see.
These aliens are pretty cool looking.
Yeah, they are. They're all wearing these headbands. And
the headbands give them powers.
Right. Superpowers. So they capture Aquaman. I'm not sure how they did. They don't show him capturing it, but they put him in a cage, and this one guy says, "Oh, don't kill Aquaman," and so he is a traitor. So they take off his band and they put him in the cage, and if you touch the cage, you die.
Yeah.
Which is gonna suck because there's not enough room to stretch out. So
right.
if you can go to sleep, you'll die.
Mm-hmm.
So the traitor to the aliens, and they change from mean green-looking guys to yellow sad sacks.
Yeah, yeah.
But he invented the headbands, and these evil guys made them.
They weaponized it.
And they coming back, and they're getting gold or something. So I don't know what they're trying to steal.
I forgot. So.
And I don't think they were. I think they're just taking.
Were they just thinking of conquering?
No, they're stealing money or something. I don't know. But what would they need?
Wow, you just discovered the biggest plot hole. What are they even here for?
Yeah.
And I forgot.
They say loot.
Okay.
Okay, so because there's a thing that people say about marriage. It's just a document. It's just a piece of paper. Yeah, but you have in your wallet a bunch of little green pieces of paper, and they're absolutely worthless, except they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the amount they are worth exactly what other people give for them.
Yeah.
But alien, you can get $1 million in cash and take it to Mars or whatever, and it's going to be worthless.
Yeah.
Unless.
All right, and I totally understand. Things are worth what people, the value they place on them.
Right.
So.
And so it can't be money. It could be jewels and gold, but that, I don't know. Do they need jewels and gold on Alien Land? I don't know.
Yeah. Like I remember reading, it's one of the great Superman Brainiac fights. Brainiac came to Earth and he was stealing copper because it was, it's plentiful and practically worthless. Here, it's like one of the least valuable of all precious metals. But like wherever Brainiac was, on Kolu, I guess, copper was rare and of immense value. So.
Yeah. Although probably he could have sold a device, like a nano cigarette lighter or something like that, and made enough money to buy train loads of it.
Well, right, and it's like Brainiac travels in space and he shrinks planet or cities and keeps them in jars. Like I get the impression he's not hurting for dough.
Yeah.
The opulent Brainiac ship, I just don't see.
Yeah. So,
and stealing things are a weird goal for him, unless it's something he needs to keep his robotic life going. I don't know.
Anyway. Well.
Of course, that story might have come out before they revealed that he was an android.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on that. I've read a lot of origin stories on. Now I don't know what to think of them.
Oh.
Okay, so. Aqualad sees that Aquaman is captured, so he sends turtles and octopi.
Of course.
But they fail miserably, but that's not the point. They're making diversions, so he can come in. Being carried by sea eagles. So there's an extra headband because the traitor died, which is well written. So why is there an extra headband? Because they put the traitor guy into the
so Aquaman or Aqualad, puts on the headband. He gets big and green, and he's got more power. So he releases Aquaman, and then they beat up the bad aliens.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
That's about it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the fight goes on for a while.
Yeah,
which is very satisfying.
Not bad at all.
Pretty actually a lot of fighting for a DC story.
Yeah, and the swordfish steal the headbands off the bad guys.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But they're talking, but they're underneath the water. What's up with that?
Who's talking?
The aliens and Aquaman, of course, can talk, but the aliens, can they talk underwater?
If they got the headbands, it's giving them the powers.
They lose the headbands and they're still talking.
Okay, well, I don't know. reasons.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So everybody's captured and everything's good. Yay!
Yeah. And so the guy who was the traitor, who was actually a good guy, they send him back to their planet or whatever with the bad guys in his custody.
So everything's good.
Yeah. So we've got another couple more issues of World's Finest to talk about. This is World's Finest Comics number 184. It is the May 1969 issue. And the lead story is called Robin's Revenge. It was written by Cary Bates, penciled by Curt Swan, and inked by Jack Abel.
All right.
And I think it's interesting because Curt Swan, his stuff looks radically different depending on the inker. And, and that's why this is fine, but I'm such a proponent of like, oh man, his stuff as inked by George Klein is the best, because that's the most classic looking stuff. Jack Abel, fine inker, and he lends a different kind of feel to it. Certainly not bad, just different.
All right, this is an imaginary story, so this is why I didn't learn about this in college.
Right.
All right. So, Batman and Robin and Superman's hanging on, but Superman's got to go save an airline. Man, airliners crash all the time.
Right. Not with Superman around. But anyway, the three of them were fighting this villain, and Superman had to leave and left it to Batman and Robin to subdue him.
Right. And Robin is chasing after... They're both chasing after bad guys, and Robin trips and hurts his ankle. So Batman goes on without him and gets disintegrated by the what's this guy's name? The Annihilator or the Atomizer or
something like that. The Atomator. The Automator.
Automator.
Yeah.
So, and he dies. So, that's just an imaginary story. You can kill people.
Yeah, and great scene of, Robin being sad, consoled by Superman, and then, the funeral of Batman, where the Justice League are there, Green Lantern creates the tombstone, Aquaman and Flash and Green Arrow, Hawkman are there, Jimmy Olsen, and a few other people.
Who's that?
Oh, and Batgirl. I don't know, Commissioner Gordon, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love the headstone.
Yeah.
Man, I want that to be mine.
What it says is, in memory of Batman, champion of justice, killed in action, 1969. Rest in peace. But yeah, and the headstone is like kind of got bat wings and stuff. It looks cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so Robin pretends he gets killed. Pretends that he and Bruce Wayne die in the Alps in a skiing accident.
That's right. So Dick Grayson assumes a different identity and continues fighting crime.
Goofball too, man.
Yeah.
He's got this big medallion around his neck.
Yeah.
And he's got blonde hair and a Nehru jacket.
Yeah. It's the mod era, though.
Yeah.
It's stupid. You're right.
Yep.
But yeah, Robin keeps fighting crime, though.
Yeah, he goes to what's the name of this? Kyer or something like that campus?
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
He goes to college. So anyway. And he's a star athlete in college, and he's like, does great in school, and he's still fighting crime.
Yeah.
So good job.
Yeah, and everyone's surprised. Why are you in here? You're supposed to be in Gotham City. Yeah, so... Alright, so they grow old. Superman's really old and he's losing his powers.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting way. Like, Superman's should age and his absorption of solar radiation become less good. Rather than him just getting, like, more and more you can't do anything to him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I always enjoy Superman with the gray temples.
Right.
So there's a new villain in town.
Yeah, and they're the safest bank in Metropolis, and...
Golden Gloves is this guy's name.
Is it?
I think that's what they call him.
Wow, okay. So he breaks in there, and I love the yellow going through this force field is beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nicely done. He creates a hole in the bank floor and sends the guards down. It's
Pretty cool.
Oh, the name of the letter section is Cape and Cowl Comments.
Yeah.
So there's a huge fight, and Superman's not doing too well.
Yeah.
But
Robin gets his like cool adult costume with pants, and he looks great.
Yeah, he does.
Great with pants. Like, so he still has the green trunks, but red pants.
And red and green boots and green gloves.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and full sleeves, not exposed arms.
So I guess he's grown up, so he got his long pants on. So.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
I always when they show the Earth 2 version of Robin, the adult Robin, they have him in a similar costume. I always like that.
Yeah, he's got a cool vehicle too, some kind of jet saucer or something.
Sure. It's interesting that he stays Robin. He doesn't take up the mantle of the Bat as an adult.
Interesting, yes. So Superman goes against Golden Gloves,
and Golden Gloves blinds him permanently.
Yeah.
So Superman is blind. He still has his powers.
Yeah.
But he has to kind of get around by like senses, like Daredevil. But this is trying to do that is so new to him. He fails.
Yeah, he's not doing well. So I think he's. Let's see.
So Robin tracks down Golden Gloves and removes his mask, and we've revealed that it's Bruce Wayne, brainwashed by the Automator. So Batman wasn't really dead. He'd just been captured and turned into a villain.
Yeah.
So anyway, Robin defeats the Automator, and he's the setting, and this isn't like the last couple panels. There's like, well, Superman's going to carry on, but he has to train himself to work without his sense of sight, and they have to kind of de-brainwash Batman.
Wow, what a depressing ending.
Yeah, but I'm like, wouldn't this be a great setup? I would love to read stories about that version.
Actually, yeah.
It would. I would love to read a couple issues of comics about that.
I wasn't that impressed with the story, but if this is like an origin of more stories, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So we have a backup story, and it's a reprint. It's John Jones' Farewell to Earth, and it's a reprint from Detective Comics number 267, written by Jack Miller with art by Joe Certa.
Okay.
Yeah.
John Jones is a Martian who's actually, well, he's a detective, but he's actually a Martian.
Yeah, he's the Martian Manhunter from the Justice League. You might have heard of him. And I like John Jones. He's fun.
Okay, so...
I mean, he's pretty square, but he's cool.
Yeah. Someone says there's a spaceship, and so the commissioner or the chief sends him out, checks on it, anything is going to be anything, but John Jones says, oh, it is a spaceship. So he checks it out, and it's Jovians. And
Jovians are from Jupiter.
Right. They cannot... okay, there's a bad Jovian with a bunch of weapons. And going to... and they got to capture him. But they can't go out because it's raining. And Jovians are hyper-allergic to rain, which is kind of... or water at all. And
yeah, I'm like, how can things live without water? But, yeah. But that aside... and it's interesting, they also have a limited time that they can be there. They're trying to capture this guy, but they only have like 24 hours.
Yeah. But they said, well, if you capture him, Mr. John Jones, we'll take you back to Mars.
Yeah, because John Jones is trapped on Earth. Because in his origin story, which is an earlier issue of Detective Comics, this nice scientist was trying to contact people from other worlds and teleported him to Earth by accident, and then had a heart attack when he saw the Martian. And so he couldn't send him back. So John Jones was stranded on Earth.
Huh. Wow.
It's like he's in the Justice League. Like, couldn't Superman take him to Mars?
Duh. Probably Batman has a Bat space shuttle or something.
Probably.
Yeah. That is odd.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't really want to go back. He's having too much fun fighting crime.
Okay. If you had superpowers, fighting crime would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right? Because Martian Manhunter, he can do all kinds of stuff. He can be invisible, he can be intangible, shapeshift, and he's super strong.
Any job with superpowers would be cool.
And he's telepathic.
If you're a garbage collector, it'd be kind of cool having superpowers. Yeah, but I think probably being a detective would be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so Spore, who's a bad guy, has all these weapons, and it's kind of cool. Not a bad battle at all. So
yeah.
It's a huge fight. So stupidly, the Jovian, who is allergic to water, goes in the tunnel of love, and he shoots at John Jones, destroys his boat, and John Jones can swim because Martians are not afraid of water; they're afraid of fire.
Yeah.
I'm kind of afraid of fire too. I don't want to be.
But yeah, fire is his only real weakness. I mean, other than that, like bullets bounce off him, and he's he's got a lot of powers. You know.
Yeah. So John Jones captures him by splashing water on him.
Yep.
Yeah, like a water fight,
like kids have.
Yeah.
See, but can you imagine a kid reading this? We can reenact this story. You be the Jovian. I'll be John Jones.
Yeah.
Okay. See.
Mm-hmm.
So. Kind of fun.
Yeah, they'll never conquer Earth. So,
nope.
Unless they wear spacesuits.
Yeah. So John Jones captures the Jovian, but he can't go with the Jovians because the time was run out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's fun. So we have another issue of World's Finest to talk about.
Superman and Green Lantern.
Yeah. With a special appearance by Dr. Fate.
Mm-hmm. Or is he?
Well, we'll see. Mm-hmm. Way to just wreck it right there.
Hey, as if they're going to... Now, if you're listening to this, folks, you got to expect spoilers.
Well, I know, but like maybe when we get to that point in the plot. But anyway, maybe Dr. Fate will or won't be who we expect him to be. Gosh. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the story is called... This is World's Finest number 201. And it's the March 1971 issue. And the story is called A Prize of Peril. It was written by Denny O'Neil. Penciled by Dick Dillon and inked by Joe Giella.
Okay, we got a meteor shower coming to Earth. Green Lantern helps out, and he's kind of containing them and sending them away. And then Superman sees it, and they don't know. Neither one of them know that they're stopping this.
Right.
So they get in each other's way.
Right.
But I think that might be planned.
Yes.
So, so they get in their argument. They're about to beat each other up, and then one of the Guardians is it?
Yeah, the Guardians of the Universe.
Okay, I want to say Guardians of the Galaxy.
I've done that too, but here's the thing: DC or comics were famous for like the heroes not like arguing. Mm-hmm. You know, especially in the Silver Age, like just they're practically they're the get along gang. Okay. And Marvel people argued all the time. Mm-hmm. But here in the 70s, in the Bronze Age, we're actually introducing some of these elements of they shouldn't agree, all the time. And even though they're both good guys, they're going to see things differently because they're different people.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this. This argument with Superman and Green Lantern.
Yeah. So, and Green Lantern talks to Green Arrow and says, well, I don't know if I'd want to mess with Superman.
Right.
So so the Guardian says, we got a judge, and it's Dr. Fate.
Well, that's cool. So they got him from Earth 2.
Mm-hmm. All right. They got to attack this magical beast. Go through these tubes that are, what are the ectoplasmic tunnels? If you touch it, you die.
Yeah.
So, and they go and before they meet the beast, they will meet the thing that scares them the most.
Yeah. So, but anyway, this whole thing was a contest just to settle the differences between Superman and Green Lantern.
Right. Mm-hmm.
At least that's the setup.
So,
Green Lantern encounters this crazy yellow spider.
Yeah. And
of course, Green Lantern's ring can't do anything against yellow.
But Hal Jordan just rips it up and says, wow, Green Lantern didn't do nothing. It was all Hal Jordan.
Well, yeah, he didn't use the ring. He used his own strength to break the web, and that's cool. And then we see Superman encountering his father, Jor-El.
Huge father, who tells him that he's a worthless piece of junk. He should have been a scientist, not a superhero. And he he gives him a super spanking.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And it's crazy.
And Superman figures, oh, wait a minute. This is all a gag, so...
Yeah, it can't be my father, you know. This is all put on. So he just carries on. And then he and Green Lantern show up around the same time to see that dragon or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they have to work together to touch it or stop it or whatever.
Because both of them try to do it by themselves and it doesn't work. Superman is cannot do anything against magic. He says he's I'm as against magic. I'm as powerful as Don Knotts. So, is there a character or a person now who is a weakling like Don Knotts? I can't think of anybody.
Not off the top of my head, no. We don't. Those aren't the jokes now. You know, it's not like that's somebody weak and wimpy is like a terrible how could you do a thing like that? But it's just it's not something we really joke about so much now. But yeah, and it's hard. How does Superman fight a magic monster? And it's going to attack the Justice League satellite, which is 33,200 miles from Earth.
Wow.
Or is it 22,300? I can't remember.
Let's see. The Atom and Hawkman are in monitoring duty.
Yeah.
And so what they do is Green Lantern puts a shield around Superman, and Superman goes and punches out the beast.
Yeah. So that'll work.
And then they figure out that it's all a scam. Who is this?
It's Felix Faust.
Yeah.
Dr. Fate wasn't Felix Faust at all. Or, excuse me, Dr. Fate wasn't Dr. Fate, it was Felix Faust. He's a classic Justice League villain. And it's one of these, you don't find out until the very last page it's him.
Yeah.
But he's totally defeated. And they realized that Dr. Fate wouldn't have kind of like gone in for a thing like this, and so they were on to him. And so anyway, they put him in jail or whatever.
This is why it was suppressed, because it didn't want people to worry. And so this is why we didn't read about it in the New York Times.
Oh, right.
I love the idea of imaginary and suppressed.
Yeah. So we've got one more comic to talk about today. No more World's Finest. This is an issue of Weird War Tales, and it's number 40, which is the August of 1975 issue. And the lead story is called Back from the Dead, written by Jack Olick with art by Fred Carrillo.
Yeah, really well drawn.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, so some guys are watching a movie about ghosts, and one guy doesn't believe in ghosts, the other guy does.
So they're in World War II, and they're like, okay, now the movie's over, time to fight the war some more.
Yeah, the Germans attack during movie time, which is dirty Krauts.
Yeah.
So they run, and they go into this building, and they find 3 Germans down there, and they shoot them, but one of the Germans drops his gun, and it shoots one of the guys, which are the Germans so useless that they can only shoot somebody if they drop their gun? I thought it was just odd. There's always something odd about war comics and how they do things, and war movies this time too. Not sure what do they mean or where they're coming from.
I don't know.
So
you have to think this is 1975. Okay, Vietnam still in recent memory, and we're not sure how we feel. It's not like, even though we're talking about World War II, America's kind of like attitude towards war and military is different in this time, and so I think you got to do something different if you're going to do war comics.
Yeah. But what are you saying though? When a drop gun shoots somebody, but the enemy doesn't?
I think it's odd. I guess it's saying like trying to play up an incompetence or just.
Yeah, or something.
I don't know.
It's just,
why didn't the enemy just shoot him? It achieved the same effect, right?
Yeah, and it's just odd. I don't know where they're going. That's the problem. I don't know what they mean. So why'd you do that? So
yeah,
I'd like to ask.
I don't know. I didn't even think about that when I read this story. So I don't know.
Yeah, and they made a big deal about it too. So all right. So there's explosions and all this stuff, so they leave this haunted castle and they come back because they see some GIs come in, and the GIs are ghosts. The end. So, okay.
So there's one of several backup stories. This is just a 2-pager. It's called The Day After Doomsday. And let's see, this was written by Len Wein, penciled by Howard Chaykin, and inked by Bill Drought.
That took longer for you to explain who did this than it did to read the comic. It's last guy on Earth, and he throws a rock into a plate glass window. The end.
But he was talking about feelings and like how the world used to be and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I liked it, but yeah, it's rather short.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Why did he bust up that window? And I don't know. He found a can of food. Ooh. So I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So another backup story we've got is called The Warrior Breed, and let's see. This was written by Jack Olick. With art by Buddy Gurnale.
Mm-hmm. Really well done, too.
Yeah.
American Revolution. You don't see much of the American Revolution. Not many movies or comic books, for that matter.
No, not a whole lot.
All right, this little pipsqueak wants to join the American Revolution Army.
And they let him.
Yeah. Not without a fight. Yeah. But he turns out to be a pretty good soldier. And he gets injured, but he won't let anyone help him. I wonder what's going on. So he finally gets super injured in a bunch of battles.
Yeah.
Which are really well done.
Yeah.
He gets stabbed in the back by a sneering
British
redcoat grenadier. Normally you see grenadiers, the guys with those peaked hats.
Yeah.
So, which makes them look bigger and more scary.
Sure.
They're kind of elite troops, so they weren't.
Yeah. But anyway, this person's getting medals and stuff, and it turns out it was a chick disguised as a guy. And this, I guess, was a real person in history.
Yeah. Deborah Sampson.
Yeah. So the last story in this issue is kind of wild. It's called The Soldier from Space, and it was written by George Kasdan with pencils and inks by Rick Estrada.
Okay. The Germans are fighting, and they're getting defeated, and they find a spaceship. And the spaceship has this alien in it, and so the alien's getting up, so they try to shoot him, but it doesn't work. So the alien has amnesia, so they tell the alien, hey, you're sent here to help us to defeat the Amerikaners.
Yeah.
So he gets in, he's kind of remembering what he's trying to do, and works on his machinery, and
he's using all his super weapons to help them in the war.
Yeah, he doesn't do much yet.
Yeah.
And then he gets hit in the head with a rock, and he remembers what he's supposed to do, and he attacks the Germans. It turns out that he was he's supposed to get food for his planet, and his food is human blood.
Yeah, weird.
And he looks like a hippie, space, I don't know, vampire.
Yeah, and so he kills a bunch of Nazis and takes their blood back to his planet.
Cool battle scenes.
Yeah. He has all these weird weapons on his spaceship, which you would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, not bad. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see you in the funny pages.